To be able to code on a Chromebook, we first need to install Linux on a Chromebook. Chromebooks can now install Linux in a container within the Chrome OS itself without the need for reinstalling the complete operating system on the device. In order to install Linux, we should first go to the time option right here, click on the gear icon to open the settings, and once the setting page opens, click on the three lines next to the word settings and go all the way to the bottom and click about Chrome OS. This is going to open a page where we can check if our Chrome OS is on the latest version. If you find your Chrome OS is not on the latest version, then you need to update the Chrome OS. First, we're going to check for updates, and our Chrome OS is already on the latest version. If it wasn't, it would ask us to upgrade it, and we should upgrade it. Then we can go back to our settings, and if we look down, we will notice that we have an option called Linux Beta. This allows us to install a Linux container within the Chrome operating system itself. There is a possibility that even after upgrading the Chrome OS to the latest version, you may not have the Linux Beta option. It is because there are only some Chromebooks that support this project of Google called Crostini. In order to find out if your particular computer is supported by Crostini, you can go to this link and find out if your computer is one of the ones that uses these boards. To find out which particular device uses any of these boards, you can go to the device list and look for the board in this column right here. And this is the particular device that you may be using, or the other devices that may or may not be supported. So now that you have found out that your particular one does give the Linux Beta option, to install Linux, all we got to do is click on the Linux Beta. So to turn on Linux, we have to click on the Turn On button right here and click on Install for it to start the process of installation. At this point, our Linux installation is complete. It opens up the Linux terminal because that's how we usually interact with the Linux computer. So at this point, we're going to close the terminal so that we can see how we can launch the terminal again in case we closed it. So now that our terminal is closed, so we're going to look for that terminal so that we can launch it again if we need to. So to do that, we'll click on the launcher right here and we'll look for the terminal by searching for it. So we did find the terminal. In order to make it available and put it on the shelf, all we do is right click on it and say pin to shelf. That way we always have the terminal available just when we need to launch it and whenever we need to launch it. All we got to do is click on the terminal and we can launch it. So now that we have Linux installed on our computer, now we can install Linux software, Linux programs using Linux commands. So we are going to use primarily an apt-get package manager to install the software that we want to install here. The first thing we need to make sure is we upgrade our apt-get package manager to the latest version. So we upgrade the packages that are there. So in order to do that, we do sudo apt-get update. So that's going to update all the packages so that whenever we try to install something, that package is going to be available, or if it's already available, it's going to be the latest one available. So now that our apt-get package manager has been updated, now we are going to use the apt-get package manager to install say our Python program. So the program that we are going to install to run our Python programs is going to be idle. Idle 3 is the one that we're going to install. Idle is an integrated development environment for Python. So to install idle, we're going to use sudo apt-get install idle 3. So this is going to install idle, and at this point it's going to ask us if it's okay for this installation to take some of the disk space on the computer. We're going to say yes, and it's going to start the installation, and we're going to wait for it to finish. At this point, our integrated development environment for Python is already installed. So let's see if we can launch it. Let's close the terminal right here. So we do not have it on our shelf yet. So we're going to go back to the launcher, search for it, and we do see it's available. All we got to do is right click, pin to shelf. So that way we have it available for the use. And anytime we click on the icon on the shelf, it's going to launch our idle. So that way, let's see if this Python shell works. Say 2 plus 2, it seems to work. So that's how we installed Python on a Chromebook. If we wanted to take it one step further by also installing PyGame on this Chromebook, so that we are not only able to write Python programs, but we are also able to build games using this computer. To install PyGame, we are going to use a package manager called pip. So far we used apt-get, but now we are going to use pip. So in order to do that, we will first need to install pip on this computer. So first we will use apt-get to install pip, and then we'll use pip to install PyGame. So the command to install pip will be sudo apt install python 3-pip. It again asking if it's okay for it to use some disk space. To continue, we're going to say yes. Just like how apt-get allows us to install Linux software on a Linux computer, pip is another package management tool which allows us to install software packages written in Python. At this point, pip is installed, so now we are going to use the pip package manager to install PyGame. So the command for installing PyGame will be sudo pip3 install PyGame. So PyGame is successfully installed. In order to check if the PyGame was successfully set up in your Python IDE, so you can open your Python shell and say import PyGame, and if you do not get any errors, that means PyGame is successfully installed. So it says PyGame 196, hello from PyGame community. So it seems like we are all good. So our Python is installed, and we have an icon on our shelf for it, and PyGame is also installed. That's how you set up your Chromebook for writing programs and also building games. You can also use Chromebook to learn Scratch. In order to use Chromebook for Scratch, all you have to do is open your Chrome browser and go to scratch.mit.edu. If you already have an account, log in using your account. If you do not have an account, you can join Scratch, create an account and log in using that. And even if you don't want to create an account and you want to start working on it right away, you can just click on the Start Creating button and start using Scratch. So Scratch is a great way to learn the foundational concepts of computer science, whether it be sequencing, branching, looping, variables, or more. So you can start off with that and get a very good understanding and build critical thinking.